this was the first time that I saw, this was last year, but the first time I saw a blockchain technology used in a very practical way, even to the government level, and in a way that you don't have to know that it's blockchain. It is just something that is a public good and it will benefit an entire country if that's the case. And then we have DM3 protocol, for example. This is one of the places I work, which is basically a messaging layer protocol that basically doesn't want to change the app that you are using, doesn't want to change if you use WhatsApp or a status. It just wants you to connect. It helps you to, if I am using, let's say, a status, or if I'm using WhatsApp, I don't have to leave a status to talk to WhatsApp. I just put your ENS name, and I can talk to you right away without changing blockchain, without changing the app. And it's a public good too. Then we have Colectivo Network, very well known, very niche also, but one of the very first cases I knew about a public good that is on-site, impacting communities, creating their own economies, and providing a streamline of support. Then we have Token Engineering Academy, also quite niche, but the first bachelor degree level to learn about token engineering, and it's public good. It's open to anyone to access it. It's online. They will also have, if you're going to ETC, they will have a track that you can take a look at. Then you have Gas Hog, which is basically saving you gas from Ethereum. It's an RPC embedded in your MetaMask, and you simply can save gas any transaction that you put on there. You have Dabnode, a local people here. And then you have Arabic Web3 education. Arabic Web3 education struck me quite deeply because it's this kind of things, and this happens with many of these other protocols. It's the kind of things that, because I don't need it, I don't think about them, or I don't think about this as a public good. But then when I see an entire continent using this, you realize that we need to have more context, and you realize how public goods fulfill a role in society, that sometimes other ways, or other protocols, or other companies don't have access to it. Knowledge, in the case of Arabic Web3 education, is basically knowledge that is shared in Arabic. So that helps an entire community to have access to Web3 education. And this is key, and it is important, but they are overwhelmingly underfunded, because no one sees the economic potential on that. But if you just measure your impact, as I said before, and you say, hey, we train 100 Solidity developers, and you are one of the many funds in Dubai requiring Solidity developers in your own tongue, then that makes sense. But we need to make that connection happen, and that we need this sort of layer of awareness about it. So as a recap of this small talk, I want to acknowledge our duty toward public goods and our commitment that we should fund public goods effectively and in a constant way. Like, we cannot wait to Wikipedia to show us a message saying, hey, please fund us. We have a huge ecosystem, in this case of Web3. We have huge projects with huge impacts most of the time, with very little money coming to them, for whatever reason there is. Also, please have a clear value proposition. Once you apply to a grants program, once you apply to a talk, to whatever it is, make sure that you have a very, very clear value proposition that doesn't rely on external funding to be sustainable. This is key. You cannot rely only on external funding. And then finally, please measure your impact. It changes entirely the way we perceive public goods when they have just an extra layer. Because most of the times when we receive application for funding, what they say is, I have 1,000 page views, I have 2,000 clicks, I have 3,000 followers on Twitter. And that doesn't tell me anything about the impact that you have had. It just tells me what is your potential audience, but that doesn't reflect actually on, I have changed the life of, or the other example, for example, of ETH Porto. ETH Porto could be categorized as many other events as a public good. And I have never seen, and this is probably will change with time, but I have never seen a deconstruction of saying, hey, we received 400 people attending the conference. These 400 people impacted the economy of Porto in these ways, how many hotels rooms were occupied, how many average expense per day of that person. You have an impact on the economy, actually, in a local place like Porto. So find ways to measure impact, because it makes a huge difference for us to say, okay, you are worthy to receive funding, not only because your project is good or your pitch is good, but also because you have a measurable way to say, hey, actually my 1 ETH will go to the right way. So this is my link to my Twitter, very simple. If you are interested in public goods, if you want to know more about funding mechanism for public goods, if you have a public goods on your own, reach me out. My DMs are open. If not, just send me a public tweet. And that's pretty much all. Is there any question? I will do my usual countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for listening. Have a nice day.